The following is an I Quit match. There will be no pinfalls, no countouts, and no disqualifications. The only way to achieve victory is to make your opponent say the words, I quit. To the ring, from Science, Mexico, weighing 263 pounds, Alberto Del Rio.
And we are back with another Extreme Rules prediction video. My name is Brendan, of course, and today's match is going to be Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger in an I Quit match. Now, this match should not have been happening. We all know that. Dolph Ziggler unfortunately suffered a concussion and won't be able to compete at Extreme Rules. So the original match was a ladder match, a triple threat ladder match, Ziggler, Del Rio, and Swagger. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I mean, I thought that match would be pretty good. I was actually looking forward to it somewhat, and I thought it might actually be a pretty good matchup. But it seems as though we're going to be stuck with another Del Rio Swagger match, and honestly, I could not care less about this match. I mean, Del Rio and Swagger, their first match at WrestleMania wasn't very good. It was pretty boring, and honestly, I just find anything that Del Rio and Swagger do boring. They just bore me to death, and their feud has been boring as hell. And I mean, throwing in Ziggler has kind of made it somewhat interesting, but it still hasn't been that great. And you know, like I said, the WrestleMania match is pretty crap, so I'm not expecting too much. But you know, an I Quit match could be fun. I think it could steal the show. I mean, it could be one of the better matches of the night, but I'm not expecting too much out of it. I know these guys can certainly wrestle very well, but you know, just the mic work and the build up to the match hasn't been that entertaining, in my opinion. You know, I know some of you guys might disagree, but you know, I just can't really get into anything that Del Rio and Swagger do. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. But nonetheless, this match probably should be an interesting one because it is the #1 contender match for the World Heavyweight Championship, which will probably take place, the next World Heavyweight Championship match will more than likely take place at Payback, or perhaps on a Raw. I could see them doing it on Raw, and kind of getting the match over and done with and moving these guys away from the World Heavyweight Championship scene. I'm not sure, but who do I think is going to win? I think, well, you know, I said Swagger in this match. I did say Swagger, but it would make sense for it to be Del Rio and Ziggler, because you know, Ziggler is a heel, Del Rio is a face. But honestly, I would be more interested in seeing a Swagger versus Ziggler match because of their history. These two guys have a lot of history, and if you remember, these guys were actually a tag team. They were both associates of Vicky Guerrero, so they were generally teamed up quite a bit and were, you know, friends for quite a while there. And then these guys have history behind it. And it's the thing that the WWE is lacking, is the history behind matches and, you know, meaning and substance towards matches. And I think this would be a good feud to have. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of pay-per-view matches between Ziggler and Swagger if they do it right. I mean, these guys have history, and they could play it off as, you know, guys that hate each other, who former best friends, you know, who now hate each other, and, you know, getting some payback. And now guys that, well, basically two guys that were underused, were not going really anywhere. One of them gets successful, one of them wins Money in the Bank, and now is the World Heavyweight Champion. Now has the jealous former best friend, and he wants to come through and, and take that championship away from him. I think that could work. Something like that would be certainly interesting in my opinion. Better than what a Ziggler and Del Rio feud could do. I mean, that would probably bore me to tears if that happened. So, I mean, I don't really like Del Rio. I mean, I've tried to get into his character, but he's just too boring. He's just too boring for me. And they really try to play it off to the Mexican fans a lot, so he's not really meant to appeal to me either. You know, I'm certainly no Mexican, so it's not going to appeal to me what he does. And whereas, you know, Swagger, I thought, you know, what they were trying to do with his character, with the We the People crap, you know, that was actually a pretty good idea. And for a while, I was actually pretty interested in it and actually entertained me. But then it just got repetitive. It was just the same thing week after week, and, you know, I kind of lost interest and didn't really want to see it or didn't really care about it as much as I should have been doing. But, you know, I don't know. I just think that a Swagger and Ziggler feud would make more sense. So I think Swagger will go over Del Rio here. And if you notice on Raw, I mean, they had a poll who should face Big E Langston, Del Rio or Swagger. Del Rio being the face, you'd think they'd pick him, but they picked Swagger. And that just to me suggests that, man, this Alberto Del Rio experiment is really not working. He is struggling to get over, and if they're not even going to pick him against Jack Swagger, of all people, Jack Swagger, God. And there was actually a bit of a Jack Swagger chant going on during the match, I believe. So Swagger might have a little bit of hope there, maybe. He might be slightly over. Because if you remember, I think there was a Let's Go Swagger chant for some reason. I don't know why. They were chanting for a heel, but whatever. But, you know, I guess Swagger would be the more logical decision here. And I think from what I've shown you in this gameplay and what I think, you know, could potentially lead to a good feud, it'd just make more sense for Swagger to get the win. And I mean, Ziggler, I think, would work much better with Swagger anyway, and I think we've already seen a Del Rio and Ziggler confrontation before, or we've seen them have matches, and you know they're okay, but I just think there's more behind the Swagger and Ziggler, and there's much more potential, and there's a lot more they can do with the feud and make it more interesting, rather than what they could do with Del Rio and Ziggler. I mean, Del Rio sucks. As simple as that. He sucks. I'm sorry if you like him, but he's just not going anywhere. And I think the fans have realized that he's bombed out, and he's just not as good as they try and make him out to be. But yeah, that's about it for me, guys. If you enjoyed the video, of course, you know what to do. Leave a like on it, and comment down in the comment section down below, who do you want to win? Who do you want to win? What's your reasoning behind that? And are you looking forward to Extreme Rules as well? I'd love to know that. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.